Okay, let's try this again. Let's try this again. Let's put TikTok live as well. Even though TikTok is limiting my views, but it is what it is. Okay, okay. So we're back. God damn. Always the same. Maybe one day I have enough leverage to force internet service providers to provide me with proper internet. So, while the peace negotiations are underway between Russia and Ukraine, there's some concerning news coming from Ukraine. One of them is, of course, UN agency says Chernobyl nuclear plant's protective shield damaged. Is it related? Let's see. Also, we know that Russia has been bombing Ukraine for the past 24 hours again. So, not a big surprise. A protective shield at the Chernobyl nuclear plant in war-torn Ukraine, built to contain radioactive material from the '86 disaster, can no longer perform its main safety function due to drone damage. So it is Russia-related. The internet... Oh, bonjour again. Oh, hopefully the internet stays afloat. It was a really short shortage that internet went out. But yeah, I do enjoy that those sort of conversations about like really obscure and unique topics that don't really have a right or wrong answer. The International Atomic Energy Agency said an inspection last week of the steel confinement structure completed in 2019 found the drone impact in February, 3 years into Russia's conflict in Ukraine, had degraded the structure. It's kind of alarming. We all remember what happened, and we all know how bad it is if Chernobyl's the sarcophagi around the power plant gets damaged and starts to leak. I guess that you like politics and geography too. Oh yeah. I also like gaming, music, of course, history, theology. Even though I'm an atheist myself, but I do like to have conversations around religion as well, because I'm kind of and it's not unique, but I'm kind of a weird atheist that I don't require religions to vanish, or I don't condemn people for believing. Anybody can do what they want to. I just don't believe. So that like it's the same sort of a conversation that we had about like what was before the universe. Like I take a similar approach when it comes to religion as well. Like there's no evidence of any higher beings, so I don't believe. And whether I believe or not, it doesn't really make a difference. You know, there is or there isn't. It's the same thing as we're talking about like gravity, or talking about uh what would be another one, like the universe expanding. It's not a discussion about do you believe it's true or not. It either is or isn't. But I do envy a lot of religious people. Be right back. Yeah, I'll be here for a while. So hopefully, knock on wood. I do kind of envy when it comes to religious people, because they can just throw themselves into that unknown and throw their faith and their belief in an entity that they've never seen before, read in a book that was written by humans. I treat it as good stories. But nothing much. What up, Killer Quad? When we're talking about religion, like I treat those stories, and that's why I'm fascinated about religions. Are like they are good stories, but I treat them as stories. You can find reasons from religion. Oh yeah, you can find reasons in many different books if you want to. For example, like if you read The Lord of the Rings, you can kind of find reasons from that book about the political spectrum around the world in 2025 if you want to. You can make those connections between events and fictitious like things from the books. You know, to explain the reasoning for things happening. I have a crazy story about God. You want to hear it? Oh, tell me. I'm always eager to hear stories about God. Which one? You said God, but we're probably talking about the Christian God, right? Because there's multiple gods. My favorite gods, of course, are going to be the Nordic Viking gods. But yeah, I presume we're talking about the Christian God. Well, also, I do like the way that Shinto believes, which is like God is everywhere, like the ground, the ocean, and that's why you need to treat your environment good and like take care of the soil, take care of the plants, the trees, the oceans, and everything. I do like that as well. That in Shinto they believe that God provides them all the necessary tools from the ground up, and yeah, that's an interesting belief. But I do like the Nordic gods quite a lot. One night I was sleeping in bed and God came and touched me. I was like, bro, back off. He was like, sorry, Gus, my bad. then we went on a date and had a nice time. Okay. But like that was a good story though. What did God have? You said you went on a date. Okay, this is an this is a funny topic. So you went on a date with God, and I assume you went and had dinner with God. Or if you went to a movie, I want to know what movie did you see. But I assume you went for a dinner or a few drinks. So what was God's choice of main course and also drink? Was God a coffee drinker? Or did he enjoy like whiskey or... Your hair is like the Nordic gods. I do have a bit of like that Nordic in me, being a Finnish person. Also, if there's any Finnish people in the chat, happy Independence Day. Today is our Independence Day. So, happy Independence Day. God, big alcoholic. I would assume so. Do you think that God created our reality, or do you think he didn't even exist in the first place? Okay. I don't believe there is a God. So I can't think that God created everything. I don't think God exists. And quoting from one of my favorite persons ever, which is Stephen Fry, I do hope that God isn't real. Because if God was real, what sort of a God would give children bone cancer, saying that it's part of the bigger plan? Create hunger and suffering around the world. What sort of a God creates human beings, let them pillage and kill innocent lives, torture? What sort of a God would allow the happenings on World War II happen? So, quoting for one of my favorite persons, Stephen Fry, is like, I wish God doesn't exist. But if God does exist, I would want to ask him that question, or them that question, because God doesn't have a sex. So it would be asking them that question. With free will and its consequences. No, God is almighty. God is more powerful than free will and its consequences. So God could stop anything at any point. So God is willingly allowing those to happen. That's the paradox when being a believer. Either God is all powerful, or God isn't. You're not a robot. No. I'm not. I think there's more evidence of science rather than God. Also, taking the fact that the word God was made by people like in the beginning of time to create a form of certainty. That's why I love like Norse mythology more. And that's why I like Greek mythology more. Christianity is kind of boring. Like not to say like not bashing Christianity, but like Christian naming of like things is way more boring compared to like Greek mythology, even Hinduism, North mythology. Like they have some really cool names. Like in the so you can choose to do as you please. That's free will. But again, if you believe in God, it is at the end of the day the creator's fault, because apparently God is omnipotent, which means that they're all powerful. So they are allowing to do that. And because they are also all knowing, they would know what's going to happen. So them creating that human or that life form, they are already knowing what's going to happen. So they are willing to do that. And do you say it's free will to get bone cancer on children, though? That's not free will. And I know you didn't mean that either. But calling a thing by the name you created for it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. True. Good point there. But then again, God is interesting to claim that God exists. Because if I now claim that I am God, so if I claim that I am God, you have no proof that I am not, as much as I have proved that I am. And if for some reason I am God and you say that I'm not God, then you're committing blasphemy and you would go to hell. So me saying that I'm God for a believer should be as easy to accept as accepting an entity somewhere that you haven't seen. Are you a supporter of that Kirk guy? Are we talking about Charlie Kirk? I'm not a supporter of Charlie Kirk. I don't believe anybody deserves to be killed. Nobody has the right to take another person's life. I'm a pretty hardcore pacifist when it comes to that. I don't even believe in the death penalty in any crime. Life imprisonment, 100%. Death penalty, no. The only person that has the right to take your life is yourself. He wants to offer all the gifts of being with him because of his love. And that's why bone cancer with children. The only way is free will. But free will was given by the snake. For real, wise thoughts. Yeah, like Charlie Kirk said a lot of things that I don't agree with. Did he deserve to die? 100% not. Nope. Like, words are words. Do you consider yourself a left-wing person or a right-wing person, or do you think that you're in the middle? Esoteric, or is it just politics? Do you consider yourself a left-wing person? I do have some left-wing ideas, but I do have some right-wing ideas as well. Hey, Killerquad, thanks for the sub. I do have some right-wing things. For example, I do believe in controlled free market. Not the uncapped free market that the companies and capitalism can exploit consumers and humans. For example, providing shit product that actually is dangerous for your health because they are lobbying the well, they don't need to lobby in an uncontrolled free market because they control the free market, but there needs to be regulation. But then again, I do believe that government should have some ownership of certain basic human rights like electricity, water, fire department, police department, social welfare, all of that stuff. How about right to bear arms? I don't believe that. I think like hiding behind the Second Amendment in the United States is one of the dumbest things ever. Unless you use it like, no, I'll rephrase that, because in Finland, for example, we do have guns, but they are for hunting. So I would make another amendment to the Constitution, because like we have to remember that it is an amendment. So I would make another amendment for guns are only for hunting usage in the United States. I wouldn't necessarily strip away all the guns. I would just make it more harder to get them. You know, I would make it more difficult to get weapons. Like in Finland, you need to the amount of steps you need to jump through to get a gun. And that's why we don't have that much firearm like crime in Finland, even in like the criminal world. Yeah, 100%. Like it's impossible to. Then we have to remember, like it's impossible to take away all the guns in the U.S. There's like what double the amount of citizens in the U.S. and United States have like 340 million people. You double that, that's like almost like 680 million guns at least. I don't think like, but that's a society thing again. Like this is a really touchy topic, and I think because of the reason why people in the United States need a gun, and they need a gun, they don't. Well, they believe that they need a gun is because they are so afraid of the neighbor or the person walking on the other side of the street. So they are literally afraid of each other to the point that they are willing to take a life with a gun. And that is the only reason why there's so many guns in the US. In my country, the Philippines, all you need is 500 pounds. You'll get a gun in less than 24 hours, no license. God damn. Oh, you're from Philippines. I have to extend my worry to what's happening with the floods in Philippines. Like I've been reading about it quite a lot, and I've been talking about it in streams as well. The floods that are going in Philippines, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, and I feel bad because like, especially what the government did to you. I think you prefer long sleeves. I'm not sure. Well, no. Like, I usually roll up my sleeves. Yeah, the floods are awful and preventable. 100%. And like the flood funding. I read about this like a while back that there were like governmental officials in Philippines like embezzling the money that was supposed to go to the citizens. Lucky for us, like there's those governmental people who were embezzling that money are now put to trial and hopefully sentenced, because we were talking about hundreds of millions that they took that was supposed to go to the people in Philippines to restore houses, businesses, schools, streets, infrastructure. Then you could solve the problem by buying shirts with a little bit longer sleeves. But yeah, like I've been following about this Philippines and like Southeast Asia situation in general, because it's devastating, and 100% it is, as you said, Francois, it is preventable. And hopefully, because of the protests that the young people had in Philippines, the government will step up and, you know, put a bit of effort to making things right. Hopefully. Because it is affecting a lot of, not just Philippines, like there's, I think, quite a few countries around that. Also, long sleeves in Ireland during December is quite nice. Let's talk about, oh no, I want to talk about Nigel Farage. This is a weird topic. Because Nigel Farage is definitely not a political character that is close to my heart. Because Nigel Farage is one of those populists that made Brexit happen and then it went to shit. And then he didn't take any responsibility. Great content, sub. Hey, thanks for the sub. And now Nigel Farage did a bit of a 180. And I don't know how to react. This is like was on my TikTok feed today. And Nigel Farage demanded an apology from the BBC over its reporting of claims he made racist comments when at school. This is not what I was talking about. Let's see if we can find the... Oh, you're in Ireland. Get the heating on, Bal. She's Bal. No. It's not that cold. Like, here in Ireland, it's not that bad. Let's see if we can find the one that I was talking about. Nigel Farage, Israel. Because it was literally the most recent interview that Nigel Farage had with the ambassador of Israel. Maybe I need to go to TikTok though. Do I have a TikTok here? I'll borrow this one.
Hi, I'm Tim Boyle. I'm the CEO here.
Well, while I'm trying to figure out that, we can talk about this.
Hi,
So,
I'm Tim Boyle.
I found this hilarious. And this is kind of nothing goes in line what we were talking about, like space. So, a clothing tycoon vows to give away $3 billion, a company worth of $3 billion for proof of Earth is flat. So,
I'm the CEO here at Columbia Sportswear. And this message is for flat earthers. You guys claim there's an end to the Earth? Well, just go snap a picture. Send it to us, and you get the assets of the company.
it's kind of shameful that I'm starting to worse topics that are not on the same level as the first one. What is your favorite movie? Wow. Wow. I have to pick one. What would be that one specific movie that I can watch over and over again? I do think that I have like an answer. I know a TV series that I could mention immediately. That I could mention, I could watch over and over again. Ozzy Is That You? Of course, again, I am Ozzy Osbourne. Everybody knows that. I just went away from the public eye for a while. And now I'm back. But movie. Interesting. 1917 is a really good movie. I think that could be at the top. At least one of the ones in the top. I'm a huge sucker for 80s action movies though. And also Kung Fu movies. Kung Fu Hustle. Yeah, I'm gonna look in Kung Fu Hustle. I can't show you that without getting flagged by YouTube, but Kung Fu Hustle is something that I watch from time to time again and again. And it is freaking hilarious and really well made. Did you ever watch Interstellar? Oh yeah. I watched it twice. The first time I didn't really like it, but the second time I liked it more. The Ip Man movies are oh my god. Yeah. Ip Man 1 and 2. I think the third one was a bit meh. But Ip Man 1 and 2 are really good. I watched these when I lived in Belfast, like back in the day. And of course, back then, like those needed to be illegally downloaded to be able to watch. Hardcore Henry. What is this? Could be a trap. Oh no, okay. You made me watch them too. Oh yeah. And what do you think about the movie Interstellar? It's an interesting concept. And the first time I was watching, I was kind of bored about it because the pacing of the movie was horrible. But then I watched it again, and I think like the pacing, I understood the pacing better, why it was how it was. It's not my favorite movie, but it is like a good one. You wouldn't download a car, but I did download a car, I think, in order to see them. So a billionaire promised a $3 billion worth of a company for proof Earth is flat. And it all started by a challenge from the Columbia Sportswear company. Flat Earthers, this one's for you. Post a photo proving you've reached the edge of the Earth and get everything owned by the company. I love this dare. And if I was a flat earther, which I'm definitely not, I would take this deal. Even if it's like, well, let's be frank here. The Earth isn't flat. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. If somebody believes the Earth is flat or if it's a disc, it is not. It is quite clear that the Earth is it's not a complete sphere. There's a really complicated term what the Earth is, but it is quite close to a sphere. It is not a perfect sphere. What was that term? I feel so dumb that I don't remember it. I've heard it a few times. Anyways.
Hi, I'm Tim
So the owner of Columbia Sportswear decided to challenge the flat
Boyle. I'm the
earthers.
CEO here at Columbia Sportswear. And this message is for flat earthers.
Oplong, yeah.
You guys claim there's an end to the Earth? Well, just go snap a picture. Send it to us.
Hey,
and you
YouTube
get the
Andy,
assets
thanks.
of the company.
I like my hair as well.
All of it. No paperwork, no lawyers, no catches.
Tim, there is some paperwork.
Hey, we're giving you all this. This. There's a lot of good stuff in here. This,
Has a note on it.
this, 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 this. Shh. How long is this meeting? All this. This.
How did he do that?
This.
That's actually a rental.
No. Not this. All this.
I mean, if it's a rental, that's a better reason to give it away. Especially if it's a rental. But I like this there. And if you know anything about flat earthers, they believe that in that weird what do they call them? Because they believe that there's something behind that ice wall that's surrounding everything. Then there's like fucking Valhalla is there, and it might be my worst question, but what do you think about Joe Biden? What would you say about him when it was the time that he was the president of the United States? He did well in the first 1.5 years, the post-COVID era. But then his age caught up to him quite fast. But that 2020 to 2021, like summer, he did not great, but not like, it's between okay and great. But after that, it was just pure downhill. Like, he was just too old to do it. But he had that small moment of being a good president. The same is like, I can, even though I don't align with Trump, I don't align with Joe Biden. Like Joe Biden's policies in the past have been horrible. Like even before he became president. But like Trump's first term, Trump was sharp and on top of things, even though he didn't really do a lot. He didn't reform the healthcare. He didn't abolish Obamacare. He didn't provide new jobs. He didn't really do anything in his first term. But at least he was sharp, and that's because he wasn't burdened by his age yet. But we can see already in the past, almost 12 months of Trump, he's on the point that Joe Biden was at the end of Joe Biden's presidency. Eating the cats and dogs. True. That is true. But I mean, those are like, he believes everything he sees. That's like one of the things I said in TikTok is like, Trump doesn't make decisions by himself. He doesn't speak by himself. Somebody tells him what to say. And that's Donald Trump. But his first term was like, he was at least aware of surroundings. Now he's just rambling like a dementia patient. Just like my grandma saw it in Facebook. What? Must be true. Oh yeah. Yeah, that part especially. But yeah, like I think the best president, and it's a bit of a stretch because I don't think we've had the best president. Bernie Sanders would have been incredible for United States. Unfortunately, he got ousted by the DNC. The DMC, sorry, not the DNC. He got ousted by the Democratic Shadow Masters, and they decided to go with Hillary. But Bernie Sanders would have been great for the United States. I'm a full Bernie bro, but I couldn't vote if I was an American. I couldn't vote for Bernie because of the Democratic Party. So I'm kind of torn when it comes to that. Last 25 years. But that's still a bit of a stretch because Obama did some horrible things. But I do hope that some flat earthers take this challenge and try to prove him wrong. Of course they can't, and they wouldn't do this because they're probably going to use a scapegoat that, yeah, even if we provide proof, then they're going to say that that's not proof enough and blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. But now we talk about Nigel Farage because I'm pretty sure we have the correct video this time. Nigel Farage, now an MP, confronted... Oh, this is 25 weeks ago. This is old news. Okay, coming back to my glorious topic. I think you could not call a person by a term perfect. No. That is true. I misquoted. Closest to a perfect president, let's say that.
Israel's running out of friends, isn't it?
Actually, our friends need to choose whether they're going to be in the right side of history or in the wrong side of history.
But it looks like, and I don't know whether you agree with these figures, but something like 50,000 Palestinians have been killed since the 7th of October.
It's kind of like more like 100,000 at this point.
But it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
But when you get an Israeli cabinet minister talking about aid going into Gaza, saying not even a grain of wheat should get in, you can see why the international community struggles. A lot of Western countries not supporting you as much. What in an ideal world, what?
This is the only glimpse of clarity and the only W that Nigel Farage has ever had is this interview and conversation on Israel. Hello, are you mad at idiots out there in support Donald Trump? No, I'm not mad. Everybody has the right to vote whoever they want to. Like, I feel bad for them, but not mad. You know, I feel bad for them for two reasons. The first reason is, as Donald Trump said himself, smart people don't like me, and he likes stupid people. So that says a lot about his supporters. So I feel bad for them because they are categorized by their messiah, the MAGA Lord, as stupid people. The second reason is they voted for a con man that is only interested in making his family wealthy and himself wealthy, whatever the cost is. So, but other than that, like, it's their country. They can do what they want to. Like, they deserve better, to be fair. Like, Joe Biden wasn't any better. Like, they would deserve a president who isn't mentally trained by their age and also mentally trained by other things as well. I hope at some point a young president comes to the United States that actually like cares about the citizens and the future of the country.
What happened?
In our ideal world, the world will give Israel the time to finish the job. And finish the job means to make sure that Gaza won't be under this horrendous regime of Hamas. Everyone agrees, by the way. You don't see even one leader that says Hamas should control the Gaza Strip.
How many civilian casualties will that take?
Can I ask you a question?
That is the only time that Nigel Farage has said anything smart when it comes to that specific conflict and just in general about anything. And I have to say that that's a rare Nigel Farage W right there. I think a big part of the problem is that people are making their political views their entire identity. Oh yeah, I do believe that. It's kind of a, like, we go back sausage fingers to religion. Wow, so big watching. Wow. So a lot of people are making their identity also based on belief and based on political views, and a lot of people are viewing political views as beliefs as well. So that's why, for example, I don't enjoy in Finland and also in Ireland that the party is dictating what the policies are going to be that they're going to push. Because if I want to vote for a really good individual and it goes against the party, then it's irrelevant to vote that individual. So is my voice heard, or is the voice from my neighbor heard if they voted for another person and the party decides differently, you know? But I don't think like it's healthy, especially in the United States where the division is so big, that you go hardcore Democrat or a hardcore Republican. It doesn't serve a purpose. And especially if you go to social media and you read the amount of hate both sides have for each other, even though they're neighbors, literal neighbors, it makes no sense. They're living in the same country. Everybody should have the same goal to make the future better. But they are too hungered in their small bunkers and bubbles to even have a proper conversation. And we can see, like, in the Congress as well and the Senate and with the president as well, they're not even willing to have a conversations with the other side. Not like both. Democrats aren't willing to have a proper conversation with Republicans, and Republicans don't want to have a conversation with the Democrats. And that's been an ongoing situation for a long, long time. The only way that would change is if the youth started their own political party as independents and start to like revolt against the power struggle between Democrats and Republicans, that there would be an actual viable third option or a fourth option. And that's the issue also. Okay, let's even each party have its own channel for Fox News for Republican and ABCC, and yeah, 100%. And that's a really good talking point on it. Like when Republicans cite news, they usually use Fox News, and when Democrats cite news, they usually use ABC or CNN or NBC even. And the only times when both sides use their like counterpart news outlets is if they are like in favor of them. For example, well, sorry for talking about Trump again, but like Trump is a good example of this, and also Caroline Levitt, which is the spokesperson for the White House. So whenever news is unfavorable for Trump and Trump's administration, they call the news outlet fake news. For even if it's like Fox News, ABC, CNN, Reuters, anybody, they call it fake news. But all of a sudden, if the news is good news, they are willing to push that and say that, hey, look at this news, it's good news. And then they ignore the fake news part. So it's a weird world we live in, and it's really interesting to follow that the dynamic that we have in US, where at the same time you can put a wall of shame in the White House's website of like news outlets. Media wall of shame, White House. Same time you can have misleading, biased, and exposed media offenders of the week, the Washington Post. But it's not actually that long ago when Trump used Washington Post to talk about inflation levels. Hey Ryan, thanks for the follow. No, not Ryan. R1 Caden. So this is all a political theater. This is all to gain points from their fans to make this sort of a thing. And to call out like individual reporters by White House page is such a fucking scummy thing to do. I wonder when they're gonna show up Fox News, because Trump has called out Fox News quite a few times. So scroll for the truth. And the funny thing is, like, this shouldn't be in the White House page, to be fair. Don't they have like a separate agency in the United States that could do this without them trashing the page of White House? Speaking of White House and censorship and media, Elon Musk and X got hit a bit of a fine. So the EU has fined Elon Musk's social media platform X for 120 million euros over its blue tick patches, prompting an angry reaction from the US. So both Elon Musk and the MAGA people in Twitter, X, which is a proof of a really bad branding by Elon Musk, because everybody's still talking about Twitter. They have been on a tirade of saying that EU is trying to repress freedom of speech, and also that this is an attack on US. Some MAGA people are saying that because of this private company being asked to follow EU regulations, US should pull NATO out of Europe, or US should actually leave NATO as well. And some call that US should put sanctions on EU because of X. The United States isn't Soviet Union at the moment, so the government doesn't own X. That's what I assume, because we know how much Trump and the Republicans hate communism. So if the United States takes a stand that we're gonna sanction EU because they are asking X to follow regulations in Europe, good job, comrade. We are now in Soviet USA. But the funny thing is, like, the European Union isn't asking X of anything that they are not asking from all the other major tech companies. And all the other major tech companies have abided to the regulations in the European Union. The only one who's pushing back, well, again, is the fake free speech warrior, Elon Musk. Why am I calling it fake? Well, Elon Musk hides behind the shield of being bonjour nothing footage. Elon Musk says that he's a complete free speech warrior and believes in ultimate free speech, except in Brazil, except in Australia, because they don't have Tesla factories there. Also, he did suppress the opposition in Turkey just this year, like during the elections, because Erdogan, the president of Turkey, asked Elon Musk. So Elon Musk was like, okay, so they completely blocked the opposition of using X during the election. That's not ultimate freedom of speech, isn't it? Also, the same thing happened in India. The president of India asked to suppress the opposition. Elon did that as well. Yes, sausage fingers. I was about to come to that. And any negative speech about him. Elon Musk limits the visibility of any account that is big enough to cause a huge engagement of people criticizing him. So he limits those visibilities of those accounts and posts. Also, he has disabled community notes from his own posts after he was called out so many times. Babylonian finance. Elon Musk disabled community notes that Elon Musk said that is the best fact-checking mechanism in X or in any social media platform, because he was talking so much bullshit and misinformation that he couldn't take it because his ego is fragile. We know that. So now Elon Musk has been in a tirade against EU. Could I what? Did I miss something? Oh, he's personally banned people for making fun of him. Oh yeah. The big baby, 100%. He's also banned the word cis, which is ironic because that is a scientific term. I think nothing footage. I missed your comment and I can't see anything where you were referring to. So the EU should be abolished and sovereignty returned to individual countries. Let's see if Medvedev is still liking this. Oh. The EU should be abolished and sovereignty returned to individual countries so that the governments can better represent their people. Comrade Medvedev replied, exactly. God damn. When Europe finds X for lack of transparency, when Russia completely blocks X for no reason. But we do know that Elon loves Russia and Putin, so. And the funny thing is, I'll put you guys in full screen for a second. I'll pull up. I asked Elon Musk's Croc to analyze the whole thing, you know, what parts of was bullshit and what not. So I think it's here. So fact-checking Elon Musk, EU free speech crackdown. The claim is the EU's 120 million fine on X is an attack on free speech censorship of Americans and witch hunt against Musk for building a real voice platform. So, which is, according to Croc and also according to anybody who's read the what Elon Musk is, well, not Elon Musk personally, but what X is like, not following the regulations in EU. It is false. So this is straight up misinformation by Elon. The fine under the Digital Service Act DSA hits X for transparency violations, not the content policing. Deceptive blue checkmarks is one of them. Musk's $8 month pay for verification turned legacy blue ticks for celebs and polls into a scam magnet. There's so many cryptocurrency scams, people playing politicians, news outlets, even governments. So we can't differentiate what is real and what is not real, and that is not okay in Europe, and you need to abide on that. Ad transparency is another one. So X's ad database is a black box. No clear info on who pays for what, on targets whom, hiding manipulative campaigns. Third one is data access. So researchers can't peek at public data to study harms like misinformation. EU law demands it for accountability. So every single point of this is about user safety and also the safety of the citizens in Europe. Nothing is limiting free speech. And every single other social media platform and tech company in Europe are abiding to this. But I understand that Elon doesn't want people to see how many bots are blue check marks and how many like those bot farms in Russia and India, other places, Bangladesh, Nigeria, are actually those crypto pros and people participating in political discussion in the US. I understand that. But yeah, it's just stupid if you ask me. Especially coming from Musk, who is not really for freedom of speech. For example, US Secretary Marco Rubio even said that the FCC has criticized EU regulators, accusing it of attacking and censoring US firms. No. It's the same thing as like, this is the thing a lot of people don't understand because they just read what Maca people write and Elon Musk says. Because if a European company wants to have a shop or factory in the US, they need to abide US regulations and laws. The same thing if a European company wants to do business in China, they need to abide to Chinese regulations and laws. So if a US company wants to do business in EU area, they need to abide EU regulations. It is not fucking rocket science, and I am quite worried. Of course they know what they're doing. They just hate EU. That's easy. Okay, I can just send a link, but I don't know if it will work. Said hi. Where did you send the link? Never mind. The European Commission's fine isn't just an attack on X, it's an attack on all American tech platforms. No, it's not. No, it's not. All the other tech platforms in America who are operating in EU are already abiding the regulations that Elon Musk and X is rejecting to abide. So the only baby who's crying at the moment is Elon Musk, of course. And we know Elon Musk has a history with struggling in Europe because he wants like cheap labor in Tesla factories. He wants no worker rights, no unions in Tesla factories. And unfortunately, that doesn't fly in Europe. He tried the same thing in Sweden, in Denmark. Like, yeah, that doesn't work here. And that's what I'm talking about. Like when we were having a discussion about am I left or right wing, like complete open market. A complete open market without no regulations is a horrible thing. And it's a horrible thing for normal people. It's a good thing for company owners and CEOs and shareholders because you can maximize the profit as scummy as you want to. That's why regulations are important, because we want to make sure that the users in Europe companies, countries, everyone is safe when using platforms, especially because we've seen ever since Elon bought X how much he's using X for manipulating politics around the world. Or on YouTube. I think I'm missing like half of your messages. I don't know how, because I have 2 chats from YouTube open. Let's see if I put all messages visible. Nope. In addition to taking issue with use of blue ticks, EU regulations said X was also failing to provide transparency around its adverts, and it was not giving researchers access to public data. The fine issued today was calculated taking into account the nature of these infringements, the gravity in terms of affected EU users and their duration. Yeah, I just think it filtered it out, yeah. Sounds like it. Henna Virkkunen, the regulators of Executive Vice President for Tech Sovereignty, said it was holding X responsible for undermining users' rights and evading accountability. Deceiving users with blue check marks, obscuring information and ads, and shutting out researchers have no place online in the EU, she said. 100% agree. The decision means X must tell the Commission how it will bring the allegedly violating measures into compliance with the EU laws or face further periodic fines. If Elon Musk doesn't like this, he could just close X from Europe. It's a big market though, so I'm pretty sure Elon is just gonna fold. But if he doesn't like this, like, he can take his business elsewhere. It's easy as that. And to be fair, like, especially because we know that Elon changes the algorithms and changes the visibility of posts, and that isn't favorable for him. And also artificially boosts posts that he wants to politically do. For example, whenever Elon appears in a post, it is not random. It is targeted, and it is something that Elon wants to push forward because his benefactors are probably making. I wanted you to watch a video. All for that. At the end of the day, Elon Musk, it's stupid to complain about this. This whole topic is stupid. And unfortunately, there's a lot of stupid people in X, Twitter, that don't understand that what Elon Musk, even though Elon Musk is using his platform to yell at the top of his, like, small little mountain that EU is trying to censor free speech, it's not true. I love Europe, but not the bureaucratic monster that is the EU. Yeah, because you're a business owner. You want to you have a lot of money already, but you want to have all the money. And that's the reason why Elon Musk doesn't like EU. Elon Musk is now calling for that's not abolishment of the EU. That should be. Let's see where this is from. North America. We don't know. Not American though, even though they claim to be. Probably a Russian bot, to be fair, considering how much Elon Musk usually shares Russian bots. And this is in line with Elon Musk wanting Ukraine to give up to Russia. So I'm pretty sure this is just another, like, Elon Musk has those Russian benefactors that helped him buy Twitter. So I think this is just Elon holding on to his end of the bargain, you know. I hope not, but it sure looked like it. Oh, and by the way, do you like horror movies? I do watch them from time to time, but I can't say I'm a huge fan. I like those psychological horrors more. That are on the like brink, if you can even call them. Abolition. It's a word too. I'm just like, I'm not sophisticated enough to know that. I need to start using English dictionary to find all of those obscure words that I don't use in my like normal speech, so like day-to-day speech. But yeah, like, I know where this is going. That's the fastest hide from the channel. And also reporting that account. There we go. Did that have one of those crypto pro images as an avatar? Imagine being such a childish person that you can, if you can understand the Irish, you're doing fine with. I think I understand Irish better than like British, to be fair. It's not that difficult to understand Irish. I do want to talk about the one. This is a bit of a different thing, but oh, let me silence the video. So a man died while doing a barbell bench press at a gym. His family is demanding compensation of $10 million US. So this guy was doing bench press using the monkey grip or the death grip or the suicide grip. And he dropped the barbell on his chest and died. And the family is now suing the gym because there was no signs of like how dangerous it is to use that specific grip. I'm sorry, but when you're using gym equipment, if you don't know how to use it, there's usually employees and like professionals around you that can give you a guide how to use them. Also instructions how to use the bench press. And if you're that dumb to go and do a bench press without knowing how to do it, there's also personal responsibility. One thing I want to say about this incident is that there is no safety bar, though, on that bench press. Because he tried to lift too much weight with no spotter. Your induction in the gym is your warning. I mean, the main reason is because he didn't put the thumb on the other side of the barbell, but that actually like secures the barbell so it doesn't slip away like that. But because he was using a monkey grip, I'm gonna use this remote to show you. So the barbell was in front of the thumb. So when he twists like that, the barbell can actually slip away. So that's the issue. But I do say that that gym doesn't have a safety bar, like option there, as far as I can see. And I think there is a claim, not necessarily because he was using that grip, but because there wasn't an option for a safety bar, I presume. It's really hard to say. All benches are quite, like, not all benches, but a lot of the benches are different. But I think that might be the only claim here. Claiming that the gym failed to provide necessary supervision. It's not the gym's job to provide the supervision. You have to have gym buddies. You can ask anyone in the gym, though. You can ask the personnel as well who are working in the gym. But if you're benching alone, you need to be cautious yourself. And usually, for example, when I used to bench alone, I was using those safety bars just in case. Not in squatting, though. When you squat, and if you're like doing high bar squats, which are the Olympic weightlifting squats, which are really high on your like shoulders, almost in your neck, you can just like eject the barbell backwards and you're safe. Or if you're doing front squats, it's easy to just keep forwards. My girlfriend's grandparents were Holocaust survivors. My grandparents fought the Soviets during the Second World War. Both of them survived. And didn't go to the... No, in Finland. Which is relevant because we have the Independence Day. Independence Day in Finland, so we fought the Soviets twice during the Second World War. But the number of people who survived that horrific thing that happened, there's not many of them. I will protect you, and that's rare. And like, if your grandparents survived that, they are in that small number of people who can say that they survived, and it probably carried on for the whole of their life, and you can't really shut down that. You can't really get away from that. It's gonna haunt you for the rest of your life still. Even if you survived it, it's still gonna haunt you. Because finish. Yeah, I'm finished. Because I remember reading like my grandfather's journals about the war, and throughout like from the 40s to the 90s, it haunted him, everything he saw as a young man throughout his life. So that's just a minuscule compared to like what the Holocaust did. But Russia did, like, I have a few friends that have Russian roots, and their families were destroyed by the big birds that Stalin had before the Second World War and during the Second World War. Because we have to remember that Stalin killed a lot of his own citizens and put them to Gulag for various different reasons. Like, there was no reason. He just threw everybody who he didn't like. Or in some cases, people he liked. Starvation, oh yeah, that too. Was it Molotov's wife? Yeah. Molotov's wife, Molotov was a party, higher member of the Communist Party back in Soviet Union. And Molotov's wife was sent to Gulag because he was friends with another person that was talking bad about Stalin. So without Molotov knowing, her wife was sent to Gulag, like the Siberian Gulag. So, but she survived that and came back after Stalin died, though. That was a long trip. No. As I stated before, I like talking about history. And I do think that we need to learn, and unfortunately it's kind of showing that we haven't really learned from history of like targeting a group of people based on their country of origins, ethnicity, race, or sex. Because we have to remember that people in the Holocaust, like, they weren't just targeting Jews, they were targeting sexual minorities, they were targeting disabled people, they were targeting different colored people, they were targeting different nationalities, political prisoners. You're Polish. I'm ready for battle. I know you are. If you're Polish, I know you are. You like Polish is like when the Prime Minister of Poland said that if a Russian drone flew over the airspace that they're gonna shoot it down, that didn't surprise me at all. It's been a big part of the fascist playbook for a long time, 100%. Just learning history right now. Yeah, like for example, I would have probably been like if I was this is of course a hypothetical, and like some would argue that this is not appropriate hypothetical to talk about. But if I was alive back in the 30s and 40s, there's one specific symbol I would have gotten and put to concentration camp. I think it's the red triangle. Yeah. Not this one. This is for the German ones. No, not those. Oh, here. So German one, French one, Spanish one. Yeah, I would have gotten this one, which is just a political adversary that didn't fit on any of these. So there was quite a few different categories that you could be put into those camps. And some of those, like, it depended, like if you were German political prisoner, you would put into those labor camps, not death camps. But if you were like French, those were kind of like sent to those borderline death camps. But history is something that is interesting to read about and talk about. And talking about history, we will end on the last topic, which is going to be Australia. So at the moment, Australia is having wildfires once again, which is not a new thing if you know anything about Australia. And it's been quite, how would I say? It's been quite hot in Australia for a while. Come on, BBC, work. Oceania, yeah. So in Sydney, Australia, which is wild, there is actually bushfires that is now, I think, considered to be a wildfire. So Australian authorities urge thousands to flee New South Wales bushfires. Wildfires in Australia, New South Wales burned through thousands of hectares of bushland, prompting the authorities to urge evacuations at the highest danger rating for thousands of residents in the nation's most populous state. The alert was the Vegans Bay and Voi Voi area in the state's central coast region, with population more than 350,000 people, about 45 kilometers north of the state capital Sydney, Australia, largest city. State capital. As many as 16 homes were lost already as bushfires burned across the region, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation reported. Leave now if the path is clear towards Voi Voi. That's the main thing. If you're ever in like a wildfire situation, don't wait. Leave as soon as you can. Because it can. It's all desert in Australia though, right? No. Well, to be fair, it's not desert per se, but it is kind of the outbacks, you mean. Like Australia is a big place. Like Australia is a huge place, but I don't think it's categorized as a desert though. Even though us Europeans might call it a desert because it's quite brownish, but it's more like this, majority of Australia. because like majority of the residents live on the outskirts of Australia. Bushes, yeah. So you would imagine like that's why it's so common there to have those fires, but of course usually they get under control faster. But if a fire breaks out and it's not controlled, it gets out of hand fast. More than 50 bushfires were burning across the state later yesterday. The authorities said, including a place in the state Upper Hunter area, also at the highest emergency rating, which had burned through almost 10,000 hectares. Authorities have warned of a high-risk bushfire season in Australia summer after several quiet seasons. But if you think about it, like this is why it's hard for us to understand. Clear map, and let's take Australia. So let's zoom out a bit. So here's Australia. And if we bring Australia to Europe, we can see that Australia is a bit bigger than Europe. Well, the mainland Europe. That's how big it is. Guess where I'm from? Poland. I have yet another question. Ask away. And if we put Australia to the United States, we can see that Australia is almost equally sized as the United States, or even a bit bigger. Almost the size of Canada. But for example, compared to Africa, it's nothing. But Australia is one country, although it's also a continent. What do you consider a straight line? Okay. We need to define where are we talking. Because like, for example, this is not a straight line. Because it's three-dimensional, because the Earth is a sphere. So again, if we go to space also, a line wouldn't be straight for long because it's expanding. That is an actually interesting question. How can we... Damn. That's actually an interesting point. I do think you're right. That's not as easy of a question as you think it is. Because let's see. Let's see what our beautiful AI thinks about this. Let's use Grok because we have that here. Let's see. Sorry for that. I think I'm becoming sick. Yeah. If you draw a line with a pencil using a ruler or paper, it isn't straight line. True. In pure mathematics, yes, straight lines exist perfectly. In an idealized flat universe with no matter, yes. In the actual universe, nothing is perfectly straight at all scales, but many things are straight to an accuracy so ridiculous that the difference is completely irrelevant for any conceivable human purpose. In short, straight is an extremely useful and accurate concept, but ultimately perfect straightness is an abstract that nature only approximates. And she approximates it astonishingly well when we need her to. Straight in 2D. Yeah. Yeah, well, if we take away dimensions, yeah, 100%. But reality isn't 2D. True. So maybe nothing is straight in our universe. I almost made a really tasteless joke there, but I'm gonna hold myself not to do that. But even light isn't straight. That's the key takeaway here. Light traveling in the universe is bending. So even light isn't straight. Everything bends in the universe. Oh, yeah, and not only do they bend, they also stretch. So, goddamn nothing. Your questions today have been on point and really deep. Some could argue that too deep, 9 o'clock in the evening on a Saturday. But I do like those. It makes your brain work, and it prevents us from, like, it doesn't prevent us, but like making your mind think and your brain work over time. It's actually healthy for you. That's why if you read papers about dementia and Alzheimer's, a lot of those papers recommend people doing like brain exercises and different sort of puzzles and such to keep your brain active. It doesn't 100% prevent from those diseases, but it can help. I'm the most straight thing in the universe. It kind of disturbs me that I don't know what color nothing is. But we know what color infinity is. Well, we don't know the exact color, but we know the shade. And it's green. Oh, that might be bullshit. I don't remember. I remember reading that somewhere. I might be actually... No, I'll take that back. That's actually a mirror. Mirror is green. That's a color of infinity. What do you mean by that? No. It's just like if you reflect the beam of light so that it reflects itself to infinity, which is technically you're seeing artifacts of the same light, it eventually loses its original strength, meaning that the last light that is visible, the last color of light that is visible. That's, for example, when we are looking like further and further away to the starting point of the universe. It's becoming a greenish hue because that's the last color that disappears from light. And of course, after that color disappears, our caveman primitive monkey eyes can't see all colors. So that's, again, applicable only for us, which is unfortunate. because we know that butterflies, for example, sees way more colors than us. Like we don't see all the colors available, all the like it's so hard to fathom what we can't see because our vision is also limited. Bunch of monkeys. That is true. We are a bunch of stupid primates trying to figure out how to exist. 100% agree with that. I think that there's an infinite color. I mean, the funny thing is, again, coming to this philosophical topic, I think you are as right saying that there's an infinite amount of colors than I'm saying that there's a finite amount of colors. Let's say an insanely big number like a billion. Because we can't measure all the colors available. But the colors we can measure, the number is quite big already. You know? But we also, of course, know that we can't measure everything yet. Hopefully at some point we can. We can't even measure black materia in space. We don't understand it completely yet. We know it exists. We can even see it, quote unquote, parts of it, but we don't know what it is. Why is your name Alicia? There's two reasons. The first reason is it's a good conversation starter. Because like it's kind of a joke originally. It was my username when I used to play NHL and FIFA. And people got super mad at me and started calling me like, go back to the kitchen and make me sandwiches. And then I put my voice chat on. And they noticed that, oh boy, I'm not a girl. So that was when I was younger. But of course, that's also my wife's second name. So it has a deeper meaning as well. Whoa. They shouldn't say that in online chats. I think that's like, I've played online games ever since the 90s. And I've never understood that like stupid trash talk bullshit. You know? Finnish or English, which do you prefer? Either one is fine. I presume you're Finnish because you're asking that. And happy Independence Day. Oh, 99. But yeah, I remember like I had a few moments in NHL back in like NHL 15 and NHL 16. Those are ice hockey video games that some people weren't winning, so they decided to waste my time and not quit the match. So I wrote some horrible things like, hey, could you sell the game and, I don't know, go play Minecraft or something like that. But I never like went personal. There are infinite colors, but no thing could see all of them. We don't know. Hey, Aliana. But we don't know if there's a person who sees infinite colors, though. There might be. We just don't understand it yet. Bullies are bullies. Hey, Neil, thanks for the follow. How are? Fine. I'm doing fine. Just wrapping up, actually. Lovely. We love fine. Fine is okay. It's a Saturday after all. It's a Finnish Independence Day, so everything's okay. The world is not on fire yet. Getting close, though. Happy Independence Day. Thanks. The independent story of Finland is kind of funny though. The way we got our independence. Are we happy about that? I am. Thank you. Why wouldn't we be happy about it? Time is interesting. Time is super interesting. Remember, I'll protect you. We need to look after each other. You're really getting sick. Oh yeah. Depends. Are you left versus right? I don't think it does. I married a Jew. What? I think the left and the right in Finland are happy that we're independent. Is there a right wing or a left wing person who thinks that we're not, like, that they are not happy? Oh yeah, like back in the day. Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't even make that like division between left and right. There was like, there was the people who wanted independence, and then there was the Russian funded, well, people who wanted to be a part of Russia. So I think in both of those groups, they had both, like lefts and rights. But we have the whites and the reds back then, which were differentiating between those. But I don't think like not many of those exist anymore that wants us to be a part of Russia. I hope. Let's enjoy our freedom for a while. We have to remember that we are a young country. Humans are evil. They are. Like, we were owned by Russia and Sweden, like, from back to back. So it's good to have freedom for now. And independence. It was the worst thing that the Tsar ever did was give us autonomy. Because the first thing we wanted to do is be free. I think about something that I can't prove and something that all people are not sure of while knowing it is pointless. I think about something that I can't prove, and maybe I'm the greatest overthinker. I do share that feature as well, overthinking things a bit too much. I like to simplify some things, but some things I like to overthink. So Russia launched attacks across Ukraine as Miami peace talks continue. More than 650 drones targeted locations across Ukraine, including western regions with sirens sounding in eastern Poland. Eastern Poland. That's something to think about. Russia launched a massive drone and missile attack on Ukraine in the early hours of Saturday as US and Ukrainian officials continue talks in Miami, which the White House hopes will bring an end to the conflict. It's not showing that there's going to be an end. Russia used more than 650 drones and 51 missiles overnight, Ukraine's armed forces said, with drones targeting locations across the country, including in western regions hundreds of miles from the front line. Warning sirens also sounded in parts of eastern Poland, close to the Ukrainian border. Oh, and by the way, yeah. At least 3 people were injured in the attacks in Kyiv region, while the national energy operator Ukrenergo said much of the overnight attack had targeted power stations and other energy infrastructure. That's actually a war crime. Again, targeting energy infrastructure, and that is literal war crime. Did you ever heard about the series The Boys? Oh yeah, I know The Boys. Funny thing, I've watched the full the series of The Boys, but not a full episode. Not a single full episode, but I've still watched the full series. Peace talks are like me and my sister decision on what we want to order. Are you also committing war crimes when you're deciding what you want to order? Russia has been relentlessly attacking Ukraine's energy capabilities in recent weeks in the hope of cutting supplies of heat, light, and water as the country prepares for a 4th winter of full-scale conflict. And this is why Putin and Kremlin should be trialed for crimes against humanity. Because when you commit war crimes and acts of like human rights violations, you should be trialed for crimes against humanity. Her body is on the ground, you tell me. All for ordering food? God damn, that's ruthless. Russia's defense ministry said it had shot down 116 Ukrainian drones over Russia's territory, while there were unconfirmed reports on Telegram that Ukraine had hit an oil refinery in the city of Ryazan. The regional governor said in residential building had been damaged and drone debris had fallen on industrial facility. Donald Trump is keen to put an end to the war, but there has so far been little sign the two sides are anywhere close to finding a common position. Yeah, because like, don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but there should only be one position, which is like, you see all of this red, they should go back to Ukraine and see all of this behind Ukraine's like borders. Russia should go there. And that's it. And Ukraine should have like the capabilities of making their decisions how they want to make their decisions without Russia's influence or like having to ask Russia's permission. China is winning. Probably. China is doing quite well, to be fair. While the US is fumbling a lot of things, while the Europe is in constant like conflict with Russia, China is secretly just like bolstering their both defenses, technology enhancements, and also economy is like getting boosted. So, and also India is doing quite well. But India and China are both doing business still with Russia. Okie dokie. I need to go and take some painkillers so I don't become sick. Thanks everyone keeping me company. There's been now people in TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. I might want to talk Mandarin. I presume you say Mandarin. We'll be back tomorrow. Oh yeah, I think we're gonna be back tomorrow. I just need to eat well, take some painkillers, drink a lot of fluids, and rest. And then I'll be in full strength tomorrow also to have a fun conversation with you guys about literally everything. So we'll see you guys all tomorrow, hopefully. Take care, have a great rest of the evening.